Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for another YouTube video. Allincrypto here, and today we are going to be talking about the Dogecoin Dogecoin. And as it is April 1st, I just want to assure people that this is not a joke or meant as a joke video. We've already got people with a bit of a joke that not that many people found funny, I don't believe, earlier, where we spoke about selling all our cryptocurrencies. And if you follow me regularly, you'll know we're unbelievably bullish on the entire cryptocurrency space. And actually looking at Dogecoin and overlaying a Bitcoin and a Bitcoin dominance chart on Dogecoin, Dogecoin could actually be a signal for an alt season. And we're going to be deriving that narrative technically in this video. But the video isn't specifically about that. The video is more about the fact that I actually think Dogecoin is going to do really well in this bull market. Now, I have had to swallow a lot of humble pies when it comes to meme coins as somebody who started off very much against them because I've always felt, and I guess I do to a degree, that meme coins take away from what's really going on here as an industry, what distributed ledger is bringing to the world. It's fundamentally changing the world, not just one industry, and we all know about the big one being finance, but many. You know, you look at infrastructure, supply chains, identity itself, everything, voting systems, governance. You know, there's a massive broad application for distributed ledger technology. And you have actual projects out there that I believe are actually changing the world. And doing this and have crypto tokens that are far less valuable in terms of market cap than the likes of a meme coin like Dogecoin. So I've always, I guess, been kind of against them. But in 2020, I came out and I made a video and I said, don't buy Dogecoin. You know, why would anybody buy this? It's inflationary. There's no real purpose for it other than a meme. Like what's the kind of law here? And actually it turned out to be one of the best performing assets of that bull market. And I think it stands a damn good chance of actually doing pretty well this bull market. I'm going to share why that is with you from a technical point of view. We're going to start the video off by referring to Raoul Pal over at Real Vision. He actually tweeted something. I don't think Raoul's the best chartist or the best investor or certainly trader, but he does have a really good platform, and every now and then he does spit out some really good takes. But he basically posted this chart, and we're going to be extending on it quite heavily, actually, because we're going to be going over to the Dogecoin US dollar chart. We're going to be looking at Dogecoin BTC, Dogecoin dominance, and then we're going to be overlaying both Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance onto the Dogecoin chart and showing you that actually Dogecoin and it sort of initially pumping like we've seen, perhaps not only signals that Dogecoin is now in an uptrend, and we'll show you that from a stage analysis point of view, but also that alt season perhaps is upon us, and Dogecoin is actually historically has been an amazing indicator of that, and we'll show you all that in this video. I'm a real chart geek, you know, I'm a technical analyzer. It's what I like to do and spend my time doing. And you can derive a hell of a lot from a chart. And I think charts are a way to become an insider because you can see things in the chart that you just won't get from outlets unless you are, you know, a family member of Larry Fink or something like that, whatever it may be. But this is the tweet that Raoul over at Real Vision had. He said, meme coins all go to zero and are a zero-sum game. And he's quoting there. Meanwhile, Dogecoin has produced 40,000% returns over the past 10 years, and at a peak produced 135,000% returns, and appears to compound value over time. Most people's mental model of the world is wrong, and yes, 99% of all memes will go to zero. So meme coins will, a lot of them go to zero, but Dogecoin has kind of been a part of every bull market and done very well. And when you think about a market, what is a market? A market is essentially participation between individuals with different interests and different goals and different, you know, personalities, whatever it may be. And just because I'm not a fan of meme coins doesn't mean that they won't do great things, because you can never underestimate the madness of crowds, okay? I would argue there's more people in the cryptocurrency today as a result of Dogecoin than pretty much any other cryptocurrency out there, including Bitcoin, by the way. And I think that's a fair argument to make because largely retail is drawn to this space. I'm not talking about volumes of money or anything. I'm talking about actual retail participation. because they see the law, they see this shiny thing, Dogecoin. Oh, they hear stories that their friend down at the chip shop or barbers or whatever made a load of money off of it, and they've got into the kind of game as a result of that. Or they've perhaps done really well on it themselves, just speculating and kind of getting lucky, right time, right place. So I'm not against Dogecoin. I think fundamentally it's a NAF project. However, I do think it's going to do well. I do think technically what Raul is, albeit rudimentarily kind of highlighting here, I don't know why people use the line charts. In my opinion, I think Japanese candlesticks are way better to use. But you can see it's very much doing the same thing that it has done in most bull markets. And we're seeing that initial break very, very similarly to what we've seen previously be the case. And this is really what is highlighting in a little bit less of a rudimentary kind of way. So this is absolutely a breakout. We're going to drop down the time frames, or we're going to sort of zoom in here. Then we're going to be overlaying Bitcoin and Bitcoin dominance. But before we do that, after we've looked at Dogecoin versus the US dollar, we'll look at Dogecoin dominance and Dogecoin BTC. You can see this is kind of what you're looking at, and Dogecoin is literally doing the exact same thing that it did over here, and it's made this first little run and is now here in comparison to where it was in the last cycle. So this is essentially Dogecoin today. And actually you could go further back and say that it's kind of here. You have this first little jump, first little jump, first little jump. You find support on what was previously resistance, and then you break out. And actually, if we use stage analysis on this, stage analysis is something that I teach in my Patreon. I think it's the best way to analyze a market for certainly taking a technical look at it, because anybody can do it. It's really simple. People overcomplicate technical analysis and just say this indicator and that indicator and blah, 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 blah. We'd all be rich if that was the case, okay? Traditional technical analysis cannot be beaten. And it's what I am, is a traditional technical analyzer. And we can apply that to the markets. We do, and we've done very well as a result of it. But you can see Dogecoin as essentially, this would be your stage one base. It's somewhat double bottom-esque. This base obviously formed from what was support, then into resistance, and then flipped on volume. The volume is very important. It's no coincidence that the volume happens on the breakout. Why is that? Because informed money, and yes, there is informed money playing in Dogecoin. We have made that statement. Remember, this is not an April Fool's joke video. Is getting in before the masses. It's being the first beneficiaries of the first lambs of summer, and kind of setting a broader trend in motion. And that's what stage analysis is all about. So this is your stage one. This is now a stage two. This obviously was stage stage four. In stage one, now in stage two. Volume confirms the breakout, which means you are now in an uptrend. And the interesting thing is it's doing very much the exact same thing that it did over here. You can see actually similarities on this also. So what do I mean? Well, if we try and identify a bit of a base here, you can see the breakout was on volume, and specific volume, which then started you in a broader uptrend. You're doing the same thing today that you did previously, which leads me to believe Dogecoin is going to do rather well. Now, is it going to perform to the same percentages? I do not believe so. So Dogecoin, back when I was saying it's rubbish, don't buy it, actually went on to do a, 336x. I don't think it's going to do that again today. I think the law of big numbers kind of defines it to not being able to do that. But is it going to go on and put in new all-time highs? Well, I actually believe so. And I think not only has Dogecoin, which could be a great barometer for the broader markets, and we'll look at that in just a second, actually gone on and broken out. But there could be some sort of smaller structure that you're looking at in here that we'll perhaps leave for another video. I don't know if you guys enjoy me covering Dogecoin or not. Dogecoin hasn't just broken out in regards to the US dollar, and it's very much rinsing and repeating what it did going into the prior bull market and actually entering it. It's also broken out in regards to Bitcoin or Dogecoin dominance. So the Dogecoin represents 1.1% of the overall market. This has now broken out into an uptrend, in my opinion, and is likely going to go higher. You can see a clear take-in. You've invalidated market structure here. You've broken out. You've sort of come back and ran into a key level of significance. You could set something up like this, and then you could perhaps predict remember, you've got to watch and wait. There's a lot of ifs and buts in here to see if this does become a bit more of an inverse head and shoulders when you're speculating on the market bottoming as is. So you can see what we're kind of identifying here. We'll do it very quickly because the real thing that I want to cover is kind of what Dogecoin and what it's doing perhaps means for the broader market. But, you could be looking at Dogecoin doubling and then some in terms of market dominance, which will align with where we think Bitcoin dominance is, others' dominance and things like that. You've also got Doge against BTC, which is an interesting one. Again, very much broken out. And there might even be some smaller structure in here. And in fact, I wouldn't write that off given where you found support. Look at the volume you're seeing here. There may be a very similar thing to what we just looked at in regards to Dogecoin dominance. So the interesting thing that I kind of want to talk about is actually what Dogecoin and what its move perhaps signifies for the broader markets, and using Dogecoin as a barometer for the broader markets, and how historically Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space has acted when Dogecoin kind of wakes up. And it's often signified alt season, which we'll talk about. The first place I want to start there, however, is going back up to a weekly time frame, clearing the chart and actually putting the Bitcoin chart on and showing you guys that actually Dogecoin is doing, history does repeat often with charts. So Dogecoin's first sort of real break into that stage 2 occurred when Bitcoin got pretty close, or the actual break occurred when Bitcoin ran into all-time highs. Okay, the interesting thing with this is it did the exact same thing previously. So Dogecoin wakes up historically when Bitcoin goes into new all-time highs. And actually, twice could be a bit of a coincidence, but it did the same thing over here. If you look at where the kind of high was for Bitcoin, just to draw this, and when Dogecoin kind of woke up, these are going to move all over the place, so I won't do that. You can see Dogecoin typically has that first break when Bitcoin goes on and makes a new high. And we know that actually there's quite a bit of the bull market to come after that. And if we take this off and now overlay Bitcoin dominance, the other interesting thing about Dogecoin kind of having that first rally is it often coincides with Bitcoin dominance being on the cusp of rolling, meaning you're going to have that alt season. Remember, if Bitcoin dominance was going up, or if Bitcoin dominance doesn't go down on a negative market, because if Bitcoin was going down, the altcoins would be getting hit even harder. We're having a perfect example of that today, which would be bearish for the entire space. So Bitcoin dominance going down is actually bullish for the entire cryptocurrency market. And you can see that actually Dogecoin getting the kind of first signs of life and having that initial pump very much correlates with Bitcoin dominance. You can see it rolled here, and this was your alt season. You can see it rolled here, and this was your alt season. And we could be on the cusp of Bitcoin dominance rolling here. And I think Dogecoin could actually be a barometer of that. And we can use Dogecoin perhaps to give us a broader kind of understanding of the markets and where it's in. Remember, we're already kind of bearish on Bitcoin dominance at this point. We think alt season is yet to really start. We're looking at things like the total 2, which we still don't see anybody doing any analysis on. And we're essentially saying, I've removed the wrong chart here, that this is going to be moving to $3.7 trillion. We've just removed all the targets that we had, but we can redraw them based on a pattern that we're seeing here. It's currently at 1.1. So that was really it. I want to know your thoughts on Dogecoin. Is Raoul looking at the right thing? Regardless of what people think about Dogecoin, like myself back in 2020, it happened to be one of the best performing assets. Is there a place for meme coin? Well, what do meme coins signify? They really signify the people that are behind it, which happens to be retail. And again, I could absolutely argue that you wouldn't have as many people in the cryptocurrency space today if you didn't have the likes of meme coins and the speculation on them. And Dogecoin perhaps has brought more people into the cryptocurrency space than basically any other cryptocurrency out there. That's something that I'm going to be saying. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. Do you disagree with me? Very interesting. It does look like, based on what we've just looked at, that the Dogecoin is now in an uptrend. It's likely going to continue to do well. It's very much repeating the same structure that it has done in previous bull markets, which leads us to believe it's going to see higher prices. It's very much following what is historically accurate in regards to Bitcoin. Bitcoin gets to that all-time high. Dogecoin has that first pump. that can signify actually Bitcoin dominance rolling. Dogecoin can actually be a signal for Bitcoin dominance rolling in the real alt season starting, as it is a kind of meme that's kind of waking up, if you will. So that's all I've got for you in this video, guys. If you've enjoyed it, like us, appreciate it, as a comment, and I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next.